are thrilled to be joined now by Jaguars general manager Trent Baalke. First of all, good showing through 3 halves of football for your club.
So far, so good. We're staying healthy. That's the main thing.
You came into the media room in January and you laid out a laundry list of things you wanted to get done between the end of the season and the start of training camp. It sure seemed like you checked off almost every box, Trent.
Well, we got a lot done. There's still things we're working on, and like I've always said, the roster is always a work in progress. You know, we're going to follow this game, take a hard look at this game like we did the last game. We got some important decisions coming up.
So in thinking about important decisions coming up, great organizations do a good job of identifying their core players and then re-signing their core players. Over the course of the offseason, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Hines-Allen, Tyson Campbell. Why was it important to keep those guys in the vault?
Well, we've said from the get-go, from when we first got here, that signing the core players, that had to be our focus. And we were fortunate enough to get some big deals done this summer with some guys that we believe are foundational pieces on both sides of the ball.
And it sets you up now to be able to work years into the future when you've got those big-time guys signed to deals that you can count on, doesn't it?
Well, it's a positive step for the organization. I mean, you look at it, and these guys want to be here. They want to be in this city. They want to be a part of this organization. And we're going to continue to look for guys just like this.
We have talked throughout the course of training camp about your draft class from last year and getting those guys into a position to contribute. And as we look out here this evening, there are so many that have, whether we're talking about Tank Bixby or Parker Washington or Ventrell Miller.
Yeah, I think, we got 10 of the 11 guys we drafted still out here. And, that year 1 to year 2 jump that we always talk about is real. And I think you're starting to see it now with these guys.
So in going from, going into the second preseason game, you have joint practices. As an evaluator, how do you balance it between weighing what they do in practice and weighing what a young does in a game?
Well, it all matters. Obviously the game tape's the game tape, and you put a lot of stock in that, but you want to see how they work day to day, how they prepare both mentally and physically to get themselves ready for this day. And we're fortunate. We got a really good culture right now. These guys want to be here. They want to be involved. They bought in, and they're working tremendously hard, both on the field and in the classroom.
And here's the dynamic kickoff, and that's Gary Brightwell, the running back, coming across the 20-yard line. And he is hit right as he got to the 21-yard line. And here comes C.J. Beathard to play quarterback. What are your thoughts so far on the way that Mac Jones has impacted your quarterback room? He had a very nice first half, 11 of 18 for 144, and a great touchdown toss.
He did. He's an energizer. If you can't help but notice him on the practice field, around the building. He loves the game, and it shows in everything he does. The preparation he puts in. He's one of the first ones in, one of the last to leave. It's just exciting to see him go out there and have some success.
You brought some veterans in to add some leadership and maybe a little winning pedigree to the offseason. Eric Armstead coming in, Mitch Morse, Darnell Savage. What was the mentality? What was the thinking behind bringing those guys in?
Exactly what you said. Leadership. They've come from organizations that have had a lot of success. They're guys that we put a lot of stock into, when they were coming out, in the draft, and we follow their careers like we always do. We grade these guys every year. These were guys that we really, from a coaching staff standpoint and a personnel standpoint, we really felt fit our scheme and our system and our culture.
We have an equipment malfunction. Somebody's got a shoe. Cole Van Lanen lost his shoe. So Keaton Sutherland runs out there. How about the additions to the coaching staff? We saw Ryan Nielsen's defense with a nice stand there at the end of the first half to set up the offense with a chance to go add points to it. So far it appears that Ryan has got this defense playing at a high level.
Well, he's a leader. He's a leader first and foremost. He's got a good scheme. He's got a tremendous coaching staff assisting him, and the players have really bought into what he's teaching.
Denzel Mims grabs about 8 yards and sets up 3rd down and 2.
In the offseason, there was a lot of conversation about being a bigger, more physical team. Some of those things you do, obviously, in the draft, but then making sure it's a concerted effort to get it. But how do you change the physicality of the team between the lines?
Well, I think it's just a mindset. It's something that we worked on all offseason, in the preparation phases, in the weight room. We've done a lot of talking about it, within the building, within the organization. We want to be the most physical team on the field on that day. That's our goal. We want to be smart, we want to be physical, and we want to be in shape and conditioned and mentally sharp.
C.J. Beathard scrambles for the first down. There is a flag at the 44-yard line.
Defense number 21. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
How about this week on the practice field with the Buccaneers? It appeared that up front in particular, your defensive line had a pretty good day against Tampa.
Well, they're a good football team. They really are, all across the board. And, I think they do a tremendous job. It's a first-class organization. Jason and Coach Bowles really run a tight ship, and it was fun to just go out there and work. There wasn't a lot of pushing and shoving. It was just good, clean work on both sides.
So here's 1st and 10. And Beathard hands it off, and Jackson with a little stutter step move manages to find a couple of yards as he runs over the left side. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
A lot of excitement about this rookie class, starting at the top with Brian Thomas Jr. What has impressed you the most about seeing the young fella on the outside?
Well, just the speed and the fact that, that's a tough position, as you know, Bucky, to come in as a rookie. That position's one of the harder ones to pick up. Tremendous effort on his part, learning the system. He's a smart young man, comes to work every day, and the older guys, proud of the older guys. They've wrapped their arms around him and helped him grow as fast as he can grow.
Here's Jackson with more room to run, and he runs, puts his shoulder down, and gets out towards midfield. Another guy who has really impressed is Mason Smith, your 2nd-round pick. Big, strong guy. And at times he looks like he's darn near hard to block. Yeah. Impossible at times.
Well, I think we got to remember with Mason, he's really played 1.5 years of college football. He's a big man. He's an athletic guy. He's got a lot to learn. But the thing you love about him, and it's going to sound redundant, but these guys come to work. They really do. They've worked their tail ends off all offseason. We've structured it in such a way that we're giving them more reps than we've ever given the rookie class for a reason, to put them in those situations.
You talked about onboarding and that being what you were working towards this offseason. Making sure that you got guys, rookies in here and acclimated quicker.
Well, we got to put more stress on them. That was the thing that we talked about. We can't give them a rookie season. We got to get them ready to play now. And we kept them at 2.5 weeks longer than we've kept the previous 2 rookie classes. So they got a shorter break. We've demanded more of them, both mentally and physically, and we've put them in situations in the game that we weren't putting them in the previous 2 years, earlier in the game when it matters and it counts. So, I think it's been a very successful transition for us.
With the idea that it'll pay off at some point down the season. There's a quick throw, and out Austin Trammell's got to break the tackle. He's on the run. He's at the 30-yard line and has a first down to 25.
Trent, there are a lot of really good players on this team. And we talk about having to make tough decisions over the next week and a half. When you're balancing it out and you're going through it, how do you figure out which guys are the right ones to be on that final 53?
Well, it's a good question. Obviously the film matters, and what they do during the week matters. All the things that, go into this decision with the coaches. We're going to spend a lot of time with the coaches, just going through each individual player position, who belongs on the practice squad, who we want on the 53, trying to create as much depth and competition as we can across the board.
Any thoughts just in general on position groups that have impressed so far at training camp?
Well, I think it's hard to single out any one position group. I think there's a lot of competition on this team. Usually you go in and you might have 2 or 3 bubble guys. I think we got a lot more than that in terms of just competition to make the final 53, and are we going to keep 6 at one position or 7? There's just going to be a lot of debates that go on during the course of the next 10 days to figure this out.
Beathard with the throw to Trammell, running across the field, tries to spin out. All right, well, we'll let you get back to work. I know you got an evaluation you want to get done.
I appreciate
Thanks
it,
so
guys.
much, Trent
Thank
Baalke,
you.
Jaguars
Thank
general
you.
manager.
Sure.
Best of luck with the rest of the preseason and those tough decisions I know that are in front of you and your team.